Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. I really do appreciate it. On this episode, I'm going to talk about the state of my watch collection and just how I use each watch when I'm out in the field or just as a day-to-day wearer. Now, if you follow this channel, you know that I've never done a video on my watch collection. Other people have interviewed me about it, but I've never done one on this channel. We're going to do it now because some big changes are about to happen. And I need to downsize. I'm going to change my watch collection around. I need your help to see, because I love all these watches, but I'm not sure which ones need to go. We have a new one coming in, which I'll talk about later in this video, but I need your help. Comment down below. Let's jump into this. For those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Shane Walls, and I make my living as a fine art nature photographer who truly depends on his tool watches, and they're an intricate tool in my photography process. When I'm out in the field, I use them to time my hikes, time my camera exposures. And on this channel, we go into depth about my amateur watch collecting journey. Now that kind of leads to the changes in my life since I'm downsizing, so we can take part in epic adventure, which we'll touch base on more and more in the months to come on this channel. Thanks to this project, we're gonna be capturing some amazing content for watches, travel, and photography. I'm so excited. It's gonna be incredible. I would love to keep all these watches, but it's an election year. I'll blame it on that at least. It's an election year and sales are down a little bit, so I don't feel it financially responsible for me just to add another watch to this collection without losing one or two or maybe even three of them. And actually, before we get into it, on that note, help support this channel, because without my art sales, we don't have these videos at all. The art sales, my art studio runs this, and we're gonna do a special, we're gonna actually do a discount. I never discount my work, but for you YouTube viewers, 20% off if you go to our online store, site-wide. Really, site-wide? Okay, they say site-wide. So site-wide, 20% off my fine art photography and my award-winning books. Go online, type in YouTube 20 at checkout to receive 20%. That's a great way to help out this channel, support this channel. I really would appreciate that. Thank you guys. So we'll start off with probably my oldest wristwatch here, not as old as the pocket watches. This is my Victorinox infantry watch. This is a chronograph. This is a quartz movement, and I use this very rarely. It's only when I bring it out when I'm doing extreme long exposures, hour, 2, 3 hours. Mostly night photography, star trails, such as that. That's when this watch comes out. So I'm really only using it 3 or 4 times a year, as I don't specialize in astrophotography. And that's probably why this is a quartz movement. It's an older movement. This is 12, 13 years old, I believe, this watch. The battery has died on it, so that needs to be remedied as well. Fix this out next time I go out. This is an important part of my watch collection in the way that, real quick, I've always had a tool watch on my wrist ever since I can really remember. I've been in love with photography since before high school, and I'm gonna date myself here a little bit, but I was always in the dark room because this was way before digital, and I needed something on my wrist to time when I was processing out the film or my prints and the developer and the fixer. And I needed something with really good lume because I couldn't use a Casio or anything like that because you had to push a button to turn the light on. So I fell in love with Victorinox at the time because they had such good lume. That's why I liked them. Their lume was incredible. So at a young age, that sent me down the road of more of an analog watch face instead of digital. Moving on to my Victorinox Air Boss. This is one of my older watches. I've kept this watch so much sentimental value. This watch I've had now 7, 8 years. This was my big purchase when I originally got, I think it was about $1,000 for this watch. I don't really use this watch anymore. This is more of a watch now that I just put on for a couple hours, just as a fun memory. If I'm just going for, a hike along the beach or something local around here in Laguna Beach, I'll pop this on, but this really doesn't get enough wrist time as it should. Even after servicing this watch, it's still not that accurate. It's about 15 seconds slow a day. So I wouldn't trust it really on long trips. It's just my fun sentimental piece in the collection. Really too, if I were to sell it, I can maybe get $100, $200 out of it. So right now, it's just more important to me to have it in the collection. Now on to my Rolex Explorer II with the polar dial. If you do watch my channel, you know I went through a lot of other brands that are rivals of Rolex, and the watches didn't live up to the hype. They broke on me when I was out in the field. I was very disappointed in that, and it wasn't until I found the Rolex Explorer II, which now, this is the workhorse of my watch collection. This is the most worn watch, I believe, at least it was up until recently. I've had this watch for about 3 years. Obviously, it's my travel watch, since it does have the GMT function. This is my hiking watch. This is really the beat to hell watch that I take almost anywhere. If I'm traveling, going anywhere, even if it's in the same time zone, I take this watch. The metal bezel gets nice and scratched up. This is the workhorse. I can beat it up. I can wear it to any event, well, almost any event. It was interesting, just a couple weeks ago, I went to a very formal event and I wore this watch thinking, oh, this is a great watch to it. Met a guy there, kind of a snob, and I'm pretty sure he was faking his British accent. But he knew the channel and he told me it was a little inappropriate, was too strong of a word, but he's not the best idea for me to be wearing the Rolex Explorer II, especially with the polar dial, at this event. And I thought that was interesting that he took the time to actually come up and tell me that. Now, I could really care less, but if people are really bothered by it, usually comments like that wouldn't bother me at all. I'll wear what I want to wear. However, though, I don't want to, at these formal events, if I'm invited by a host, I don't want to offend them if it's a faux pas. I mean, offend might be too strong of a word. It gave me pause. It was a bit of a bizarre interaction. Onto my pocket watches. These were just a fun add, something different to my collection, spice up my collection a little bit, add some diversity, get some true high horology into the collection. This first pocket watch is from 1883, if you can believe it or not. You can see here it's actually stamped in the back. How cool is that? 1883. And Illinois was an American company. Beautiful high horology watches. I mean, you can just see the elegance and beauty of this watch. And the best thing about this watch is when I first got it, I was a little disappointed that it wasn't gold. I assumed since it wasn't gold, it wasn't the nicest watch. But back in the day, you would buy the watch, the movement, and you buy the case later. So a lot of the times, people bought a higher end movement and cheaped out on the case without paying the gold. This is just a cheap bronze or something like that. And so that was really interesting to me, and I could tell this person really loved this watch. Open this watch up, you can see the service notes. The gentleman who had this watch really did love it, kept servicing it. One day too, when I settled down a little bit more, to get this watch in perfect working order, because just look at it, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous watch. And Hamilton actually ended up purchasing the Illinois Watch Company and absorbing it into Hamilton. Now this Hamilton, American made, this is the Railway Special. And another great thing about these watches, not to mention the beauty of these watches, this one had a story to it. These are so well documented that you can take the serial number to some old websites and see exactly the history of this watch. And I had so much fun doing that, that it added to the collection that both these pocket watches have such a story, such a diversity compared to the Rolexes, the Victorinoxes, especially the G-Shocks, and the Garmins. That's what I love about these things. This watch here in my hand was built back, I think in 1951 or something like that. And it was sold to a railroad company up in Oregon. A couple years later, it was serviced at a watch shop in Oregon and then delivered back to the rail company. So this watch here, this Railway Special, was used on the railroads by someone timing trains up in Oregon. And I think that is so cool. And I'm really excited to have this part of my collection with just the history behind this timepiece. Both these timepieces, these pocket watches, are very special to me. Let's move to the total opposite side of the spectrum here. My digital quartz watches. Now these are both, now this is the GShock 5600 and one of my Garmin watches. I forget actually, I apologize, the name of this watch. We'll put it here on the screen. Starting off with the Garmin here, this is the perfect little inexpensive GPS watch, and that's exactly what I use it for. This is the only time you'll see a watch on either one of my wrists is when I'm wearing this Garmin watch. I'll always have one of my Rolex tool watches on my wrist for my camera exposures using that. This is the watch, however, if I'm going on a somewhat decent hike where I somewhat know where I am, I might go off trail a little bit and I don't need my full big GPS system, my Garmin Mini. If I don't need that, just have a little watch just in case I do get maybe turned around or something, I can use this watch to get me home. That's when I wear this. So this comes out maybe once or twice a month on those types of hikes. It's a perfect tool for that, just to get you home. If you're not going anywhere crazy extreme, that if you get lost, this is that perfect little, oh, let's just keep touch if you're on a somewhat unfamiliar area. Moving over to my GShock 5600. These are good little watches. This is probably my third or fourth one. GShock, they're great watches for what they are. I'll always have one in my collection. It's, you know, I always think it's funny when people say, oh, you're on the Rolex hype train, all that kind of stuff. GShock, and I know some people are getting mad at this, are similar to that. They're great, great watches, but they're not nearly as tough and robust as their commercials show. I mean, this is my fourth one. I keep breaking them, and in cold weather, the battery just goes flat right away almost.
It just shows you how rough and tough cold weather is, not to mention, I mean, batteries is one thing, and oh, there you go. Sometime in the last 20 minutes, the GShock has pooped out. And I've had this problem with G-Shocks before, but if they don't have the touch of the skin, the warmth, they just don't quite hold on as well as mechanical watches.
Good watches, nevertheless, for the price point. So many different options on them. And this is that watch where I'll carry in my truck pretty much everywhere I go as the backup watch, as well as too, if I have one of my Rolex or my manual winding, or excuse me, my mechanical watches in the truck with me. If it's been sitting and the power reserve dies, I'll use this. This has a radio signal, so it's always dead accurate. I'll use the time on the GShock to set my Rolex watches. So that's always nice to have. On to the Rolex Submariner date. And I am sorry to say, this is the least worn watch in my watch collection. It's not because it's not a great watch. It really is a great watch. It's almost for an oxymoron reason that I'm trying to protect this watch. In the way that I don't want to wear this watch out in the desert at 120 degrees because I don't want the gaskets, the rubber inside to dry out. Because I wear this watch mostly exclusively when I'm doing water events, when I'm going surfing, when I'm scuba diving, when I'm hiking out in Utah and going through the slot canyons in and out of water. So I keep this watch, I don't wear it that much because I don't want the gaskets and the rubber to dry out or wear out because I don't want it to fail when I am in water and have this flood. So sadly, it's a great watch. It can be worn pretty much anywhere. I do wear it hiking every once in a while if it's not too hot out. It's nice to use the bezel to time my hikes. And I'll wear it to some formal event. It is seen like the Explorer II, seen as kind of a faux pas to wear a Rolex sports watch with a suit. I don't want to offend anybody, but either way, it's a watch that can do it all, and I am sad that I don't wear it more. It's 41 millimeters is a perfect size. I really do enjoy this watch. It just doesn't get the use maybe it deserves. Being frank, this is one of the best watches ever built. I'm just sad that I don't wear it all that much, especially now too. Winter's coming. I'm probably not gonna go in the water for a while. This might be sitting around for a couple months. That's actually why this is the only watch actually wound at the moment. I haven't worn it in so long. I wanted to put it on for this week. I've been wearing this because I missed this watch. It doesn't get the usage that I should be. I should be wearing this watch more. And the main reason why I haven't been wearing the Rolex Submariner date is because of the Rolex Explorer 40. This watch has changed my watch collecting, and it's really gonna change this watch collection. The sizing of this, it's called a 40. It's more actually of a high 38, low 39 millimeter watch. This watch is so comfortable. It has taken over as my daily wear because of the comfortability. It's taken over from the Rolex Explorer II. It's taken a lot of weight off of that watch. This is my daily wear, or on local trips if I'm only going away for 3 or 4 days. It doesn't have the date function. That's why I don't wear it for longer periods. But this watch is so comfortable. It's elegant. This is really, truly probably the only watch you can say at all these, except for the pocket watches. They can be worn at a luxury event. But for all the other watches, this is really the only watch that's without faux pas to be worn with a suit. It's elegant enough. It is nice. I love that the idea about this watch is I can wake up, go have coffee with it, wear it to the office, maybe do a quick hike at lunch, and then just put on a suit jacket and go to a formal event. And this watch is at home in all those situations. And comfort, like I said, this has changed my watch collecting because it's so comfortable. I was always a bigger watch guy because I like feeling a tool on my wrist. But feeling this watch after a 12, 13-hour hike, all day hike, you forget, even with the metal bracelet, you were wearing this watch. It is that comfortable. And it's changing everything. I don't have to say it, all these watches are extremely accurate. So that's not an issue. Just the comfortability and just the beauty, the elegance of this watch. It has become, this has definitely taken away from the Rolex Explorer II, like I mentioned. I'm wearing this more and more. Now when I go to my watch box, and it's, I'm not leaving, I'm not gonna go traveling anywhere, this is the watch I would grab. Having this watch on my wrist, I was very surprised how I felt about this watch and how much I did fall in love with it so quickly. And now last but not least, my newest purchase, got it a couple weeks ago, the Omega Swatch Moon Swatch watch, Mission to the Moon. This is my fun Sunday, maybe Saturday afternoon, going to meet some friends at the bar, at the brewery. This is my fun kids watch. I enjoy it. It puts a smile on my face. It's that little fun watch. It's silly, but it's got a little bit of history to it because it's a copy of the Moon watch, so it's got a story to tell. But then it's got a chronograph too, so you can time little stupid things that wouldn't be really appropriate to do with a luxury watch. It's my silly, fun Sunday, Saturday afternoon watch. I really enjoy putting this on and again, meeting with some old friends. It's a good little watch. That is my watch collection. Thank you for sticking with me through that. I hope you enjoyed it. In the comments, tell me your thoughts, which watches you want to see me keep. If you don't think I need the watch, maybe I should get rid of it. Now, to add a wrench to the equation even more, I have decided, since you take all 3 of these Rolexes, you pretty much get the Rolex GMT Master 2. The Bruce Wayne is what I'm looking at. I want to move a little bit closer to that 1, 2, maybe 3 watch collection that I wear all the time because I'm going to be traveling a ton here in the near future. And I don't want these watches just sitting in a safe collecting dust. So I am going to get the Bruce Wayne here shortly. That will be kind of, how do I put this? That's going to be more kind of my everyday watch, I think. That's the way my watch collecting journey is moving. That's going to be my pinnacle watch. We'll have a lot more on that on this channel in the future here. But for now, I would love to keep all these watches. I really would. I have connections to all of them. It's just not really going to be feasible with what this project is going to entail coming up here in the future. And also too, like I mentioned, art sales weren't the best this year. Financially, I can't justify keeping all these watches and then, buying more watches and just put them in a safe and leaving them for a couple years. So please comment down below what you think. What's my best option? Keep them all, get rid of these 2 with the GMT Master 2 coming in. Kind of replaces this one, but this, do I need those? Do I need this? What do you think? Please give me your opinion. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. We'll talk again soon. Cheers.